Hello. Happy Monday. I am multitasking at the moment. But all right. It is Steins Gate 0. I've done all that I needed to do. And we're gonna continue. Hi Maggie, welcome in. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good Monday, a good start to your week. I can't believe we're already 7 hours into this game. Let's get started. A counter, yes. Was it Snazzle last time? Snazzle told me, oh, you're awake. I'm so sorry. I remember, I keep forgetting how late it is for you. I'm good. I think Snazzle last time told me that there are many shower scenes in this game, which I don't know how to react to, and he suggested that or she or they, I don't know their pronouns, but suggested that I set up a counter, and so I now have a shower counter that I don't know would ever progress past 1, but it may, and if it will, it's there. But yeah. Basically, I know, amazing. I don't know how many shower scenes there are, and if there are a lot, it will make me a little uncomfortable, but at least a shower counter will make it funny. So, yeah. So I think Mayuri, and you like this schedule more? You do? Good. I'm glad. Mayuri and Yuki are taking a shower together. And they initially invited Suzuha, I think. This is like my recollection of last time, which is not entirely reliable. But sorry, grabbing my notebook, making sure that we're all in order. And yeah, I'm so curious as to why Fubuki-chan, that we learned last time, Fubuki-chan has reading Steiner, or is getting reading Steiner. It seems like people who were getting reading Steiner in the past were always the ones getting impacted, right, by the demos. But how is Fubuki getting impacted by our old demos, if anything, right? It's curious to see. Anywho, where are we? Yeah, we started thinking about the voices coming from the shower room. Daru opened his mouth. Perhaps he couldn't take it anymore.
ニコ生見てもいいかな。ブラチューの生特番があるんだ。
Oh. Nico. Like Nico Nico? Probably. Nico Live. Short for Niconia Live Streaming. A live streaming service offered by the major video streaming site Niconia Video. Bloodtoon, short for Bloodtoon the Animation. Originally a manga, it received an anime adaptation last year. The main heroine, Seira okay, I shouldn't pronounce it like Japanese. Sarah Orjo is especially popular among anime otaku, and many figures of her being released. Figures? Like figurines?
不許可って言っても主張するんでしょ？
I love their relationship. I think it's so funny that like Suzuha is so motherly with Daru.
じゃあどうぞ。
Suzuha sighed, and Daru sat in front of the PC and put his headphones on.
何？おじさん。
いや、仲のいい親子だと思ってさ。
そうかな。
ああ、未来でもダルはこんな感じだったんだろ。
もっと痩せててかっこよかったけどね。
Hi Doge, welcome in. Happy Monday, how are you?
想
He
像
was
もつかな
thinner
い
and
な。
cooler. Ooh.
うん。
And the conversation died again. There were a ton of things I needed to talk to Suzuha about. You forgot there was no Hyoin. Oh, Hoin Kyoma. Yeah, I kind of miss him. I do. I miss the mad scientist, but we get sad scientist. So it's okay. He took the normal pills. He took the chill pills. Yes, indeed. But that was why I couldn't say a word. Maybe it was the same for her. Since there was nothing else to do, Suzuha and I turned back to the TV. The news was still on.
今日、東京銀座でフランスのファッションブランドル・パラディのオープニングイベントが行われました。
As the newscaster spoke, I could see over 100 women lined up in front of a store.
平和だね。私が物心ついた頃には、すでにこんな光景は存在しなかった。
Am I enjoying the game? So far, yeah. I mean, I think I'm only 6 hours in, so I don't know if it's enough to decide. But I like it so far. I feel the pacing is a little faster than the original game. Better lower my expectations. Does it get worse? On the TV, a girl in a pretty outfit was talking to an interviewer.
羨ましいな。彼女たちは誰も殺さなくていいし、誰にも殺されないんだね。
It's called Steins Gate 0 because it's 0 out of 10. No. Well, what? No, I'll decide for myself. So far, it's not too bad. And probably because I'm a sucker for depressive writing. I don't hate depressive writing. Let's put it that way. So it's not bad so far, in my opinion.
私が育った時代はさ、相手が男だろうと女だろうと容赦なく殺さなきゃいけなかったんだ。次の瞬間には自分の命が終わるかもしれない。そんな恐怖が寝ても覚めてもつきまとってた。恐怖を忘れるためには狂気に身を任せて自分が殺す側に回るしかなかったよ。
I'm surprised though that the original writer is no longer was not included in Steins Gate Zero. Huh. What's eschatit? I don't know what you're talking about, so that probably means 0. Oh. A little bit. We had the initial conversation with her of Amadeus, right? And Leskinen. Leskinen? Like Dr. Leskinen? Yeah, no problem. Not much. Just the initial couple of conversations. You know, the what is it? The meeting. Not the meeting, my brain. The lecture, the open lecture. And we met him briefly when we were introduced to Amadeus Kurisu. But that was about it. You know, I think there was a little bit of a hint of a foreshadowing as to why he's like suspiciously friendly to our joining of the experiments. So, curious to see what's going on there. And then Fubuki is also another one that's shrouded in mystery because she apparently is getting reading Steiner. So yeah, I mean, so far I think that's sort of, maybe that's why I feel like it's better. I mean, it's pretty good because at least there are things that I can latch onto, whereas like when the original Steins Gate started, it felt like everything was good. Like, where is this going? It's not a slice of life manga story, whatever. But I don't know, I'm curious. We'll see. That was war. That was Suza's life. I've been to many nightmarish world lines, but none of them were that bad.
父さんたちはタイムマシンのことで反政府組織とみなされてね。
Daru had made the time machine that brought Suzuha here. It was far more powerful than one that existed in the Alpha world line.
私も軍から離脱して父さんたちに加わったから警察や治安部隊に追われることになった。それからはもっともっとひどい戦闘が何度もあったよ。正義のための戦いなんて綺麗な言葉は使いたくない。
After watching the anime too, I like Zero quite a lot, so I'm curious to how you feel about it at the end. Yeah, I feel like the big twist is over, right? Like, well, not, I don't know, I shouldn't say that, but with Steins Gate, it's like, well, it's a full 180, and then now we're like on the other side of the 180. I'm curious as to where it leads. I've heard, I think the opinions on Zero felt very divisive. I've read quite a few posts on Reddit because I was on the fence as to whether or not I was going to play Zero. And yeah, I definitely have seen both sides. So we'll see. Curious. Only one way to find out, right?
たくさん殺したし、友達や仲間も大勢殺された。その中には私の母さんもいた。
Wait, what? Hold on, did I read that right? Lost many of my friends and comrades. I hope she meant lost my mother, not killed my mother. I skipped a game that comes before this, like in Steins Gate or just in the science fiction series thing. Daru was still staring at the computer screen, but I could see him twitch. He must have been listening to Suzuha while he pretended to look at the screen.
軍の無人機から私を守ろうとして機銃掃射で死んだよ。
I skipped a dating game. I don't think I'll play the dating game. I didn't know. Well, I wouldn't play it, but I did not know that it was released before Steins Gate Zero. Oh gosh, she tried to protect me from one of An Army's drones and was gunned down. Must be hard meeting Yuki with that knowledge. This was the first time I'd heard how Amane Yuki died. She was in the next room right now, having fun in the shower, and that was how she was going to die?
この目でズタズタにされていく母さんを見た。この全身で母さんの生温かい血を浴びた。
The Bird Squadron is on fire on Twitch today. All three of us are live, aren't we? Well, I think I might be the first one to finish, so we'll raid you back to them today, most likely. But how are you, Lenia? Welcome in. We're having a traumatic episode with Suzuha. Sam just finished? Gosh. Okay, she finished early. How are things? Things are good. I had today off from work, so it's been very chill. Played a lot of Honkai this morning. Maybe too much Honkai this morning. And I shouldn't say morning because it was definitely morning and afternoon, but yeah. Linnea followed you again. Hi, Tom. She chatted first though, so I can't judge. How are you, Tom? Welcome in. Maybe the reason Suzuha did not want to talk about her mother in 2010 was that she didn't want her asking about the future. There was no way Suzuha could tell her that.
ねえ、おかりおじさん。
I'm good. I'm pretty good. Chilling with Steins Gate Zero. Trying to calm crying little girls. Suzuha. At some point, Suzuha's eyes had started to overflow.
この世界線の行き着く先は地獄しかないんだ。今すぐじゃなくていい。時間切れにはまだ少しだけ時間があると思う。だからもう一度だけ考えてお願い。
So we learned in the past that the time machine has quite a bit of fuel left, right? It wasn't just like 2 weeks front and back. I don't remember, but at one point we were told that it was quite a bit of fuel left. Even though she had also at one point told us it had enough for 2 round trips. But I think she's just trying to get us to partake in that second attempt of the mission. I wonder.
お願いだよ。
俺は
もうボロボロだ。I knew it. In my mind, I knew it. The right thing to do was to do as she asked, but
死にたくないよ。
the sensation I felt when the knife slipped into her flesh, and I took the life of the girl I loved. It went from my hand to my arm, and then to the rest of my body, and I started shaking. My vision blurred, then almost went black. Oh, trauma. My hands went to my mouth. There was a wave of pain, like my stomach was turning inside out.
おじさん、
大丈夫かオカリン。
悪い。
Susa had poured me a cup of water and I gulped it down.
ごめん。こんなことまだ話すんじゃなかった。
いや、大したことない。大丈夫だ。
I sank into the sofa and tried to calm down.
鈴葉の言いたいことも気持ちもよくわかるんだ。けど俺は何度も世界線を漂流してきた。こことは違う世界線でタイムマシンに運命を翻弄される人たちを見てきた。
I looked straight into Susuha's eyes.
お前の非業の結末さえ見てきた。俺自身もそれに巻き込まれて何もかも無力だってことを知った。
Humanity was powerless before the laws of this world.
タイムマシンを使って世界線を改変するのはこの宇宙の仕組みから逸脱することだ。俺たち人間が手を出していい領域じゃない。いわば神の領分なんだ。それに触れれば俺たちはもっともっと残酷な罰を受けることになる。俺はそう思う。
それがオカリンおじさんの答えなの？
少なくとも今はな。
そう。
ただの逃げだとなじってくれてもいい。
You're just running away, Okarin.
うん。そんなことしないよ。
He needs some tough love. Suzuha looked up at the ceiling and sighed. That must have been a habit she picked up lately. She's mothering all of you guys.
続いてのニュースです。厚生労働省はアメリカで猛威を振るっている新型の脳炎ウイルスについて今のところ日本国内での発症例は報告されていないと発表しました。
I have a feeling that I need to learn to pronounce that name. Encephalitis? Encephalitis? Encephalitis. That sounds right.
ただこの新型脳炎は潜伏期間が長いことからすでに国内に上陸している可能性も否定できないとして
A long incubation period. I don't know if any of you guys played Virus Inc. before, but the one that kills in the end, right, is the one with long incubation period, and you like get everyone on it, and boom, it begins symptoms and kills.
感染症法に基づき、全国の医療機関に対して新型脳炎対策と感染症発生動向の速やかな調査を指示しました。ここからはお茶の水医科大学の春山壮子教授にお話を伺います。春山さん、この新型の脳炎というのは具体的にはどのような症状が出るものなのでしょうか。
新型脳炎は感染力は弱いのですが、潜伏期間が長く突然発症します。症状としては幻覚や記憶障害が主ですね。
Hallucinations and memory problems. Are people with reading Steiner gonna be qualified, like counted into that?
例えば、そうですね。会社で仕事をしていたはずなのに気がつくと家にいたりですとか、会ったこともない人に会った記憶があるというような症例が報告されています。
Oh?
あとは実際には発生していない事件が起こった覚えがあるなどといった記憶の混乱も現れているようです。
And it's ravaging America. It's almost like the world line isn't completely fused.
夢と現実の区別ができなくなったり、時間感覚を失ったり、周りの人と記憶が一致しなくなるので錯乱状態に陥ったり。
Interesting. I wonder if what Fubuki's seen earlier was a hint to them telling us that she has the virus or she has reading
い
Steiner.
わゆる寝ぼけているような状態、デジャブのようなものと言えますが、もっと症状がはっきりしています。
治療法についてはいかがでしょう。
Alright, let's take a look at deja vu. Deja vu. The feeling of having experienced something before despite not having actually experienced it. It feels as if one is recalling a genuine past experience as opposed to an imagined experience or dream. However, the individual is unable to recall when and where that experience occurred, which results in an intense feeling of strangeness. The cause of deja vu has yet to be determined. One theory is that it is a physiological phenomenon caused by an extremely rare temporary synchronization of the recollection and storage functions of memory. The cause is theorized to be spasms in the brain's parahippocampal gyrus, which is in charge of spatial reasoning and the sensation of familiarity.
他の脳炎と違いまして、適切な治療を受ければ比較的速やかに完治することが分かっています。ですので、もし国内で感染者が出たとしても、それほど恐れることはないと思いますよ。
What is treatment, though? What kind of treatment are we talking about? Is this going to be like a trip to psych ward? Okay. The reporter was still talking, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. The information I just heard was that shocking. A new kind of encephalitis, this is gonna be rough. I knew the symptoms she was describing. Losing the ability to discriminate between dreams and reality. Losing your sense of the passage of time. Your memories no longer match those of the people around you. That was exactly the same as reading Steiner. When I can't pronounce things, I give it another name, like George. We can do George. Do you want to do George? We'll see how long it lasts. Oh no, Kagari. Oh. Kagari was Mayuri's adopted daughter. The interior of the time machine smelled like metal and was covered in instruments of different sizes. The girl inside was sobbing. Have I mentioned that if I see someone crying, anyone, I'll start crying? No, you have not. Linnea, I don't know if you should be following me and watching me anymore in the future. I seem to play a lot of things where people cry. So are you sure about your life decisions right now? It's been almost an hour since Suzuha had left to go look around. She had assumed that Kagari would have stopped crying by then, but she had no such luck.
いつまで泣いてるつもりだ。
You're less sensitive with video games for real people. Oh. I think I've met someone like that in the past. Oh no, actually, the manager at my last job is like that. Like extremely empathetic. It's impressive, actually.
しっかりしなきゃダメだ。まゆ姉さんの気持ちを考えろ。
Big sis Mayuri. I feel like Suzuha is the epitome of tough love. Sina Kagari looked up at Suzuha, her face wet with tears.
Mama.
Oh.
だから泣くんじゃない。鬱陶しい。
Everyone is crying. Suzuha was crying. Now Kagari is crying.
でも。
Suzuha walked over to Kagari and knelt down, so they'd be at eye level. She had no intention of spoiling her. Her goal was to save billions of lives, and that was her first mission.
いいか、これからはカガリもワルキューレの一員とみなす。私の部下として扱う。非戦闘員じゃないからな。
Right. Valkyrie. Demigoddesses from Norse mythology. Interesting, so she picked up the obsession of Norse mythology. I mean, someone started spreading around. There are more than a dozen Valkyries, all with their own names. The Valkyries choose who will die on the battlefield and who will be victorious, and they take the souls of those who fought bravely to Valhalla to prepare for the coming Ragnarok. Skuld, the youngest of the three Norns and the Norn of the future, is a Valkyrie.
ここは1975年だ。知ってる人間は誰もいない。父さんもマユ姉さんも出生してない。つまり、誰も守ってくれないんだ。自分の身を守るのは自分だけだと思え。いいな。
Kagari was a brave girl, and she finally realized that now wasn't the time for tears. She tried to stop crying. it wasn't working well, but it was a lot better for her emotions than sobbing. She was a smart girl. Suzuha knew that.
あまり時間がない。この時代の人間にタイムマシンが見つかったら大騒ぎだ。
The time machine had landed on the roof of Radikan, which wasn't a spot that people visited often. The chances of anyone finding it were slim. But in its era, they had no one to help them conceal it. That meant they couldn't stay long. She needed to finish her mission quickly and move to the next time period.
何か失敗したら、またタイムマシンで時間を戻ればいいんじゃないの？燃料の問題があるんだ。ジャンプできる回数は無限じゃない。肝心の場面で動作しなかったら話にならない。そうなんだ。立てるか？
Suzuha stepped out of the machine and beckoned at Kagari. Wait. Hold on. Doesn't her hair and her eyes remind you of Kurisu? What the hell? Kagari looked surprised. Her eyes were narrowed at the bright sunlight. Yeah, right? She is Mini Kurisu. I don't know what's going on. The sky above Tokyo in this time period was too dirty to be called blue. Smoke and dust clouds filled the... Who knew what, where, what? Hold on, what? Okay, smoke and dust clouds filled with who knew what were rising from the rows of smokestacks. It all combined with black exhaust from the cars that scurried along the road to create a smog so thick you can literally see it. The sky above the city was covered by a veil of death. But still, it was the first clear sky that Kagari has ever seen. She'd only ever known from books and videos that the sky could be this bright. The nuclear weapons used during World War III had changed the weather over Tokyo, and their sky was constantly covered in dull gray clouds. The sun's light was always weak when it shone through them, and it was never this bright.
私が子供の頃はまだこんな感じの空だった。少しだけど覚えてるよ。
Suzuha looked up at the sky too.
空気が美味しい。
Oh, interesting. So she used the word oishi, which is delicious. In 2036, you needed a filter and a mask to go outside for any length of time. Compared to that, 1975 was a lot cleaner.
わかるだろ、かがり。父さんたちがどうして世界線の改変に全てをかけていたのか。
When breathing clean air is no longer a birthright. That is rough.
世界線がどうとか、歴史がどうとか、そんな理屈は後でいい。今はただ、この空の色を守りたいと思えば。
Kagari slipped her hand into her pocket and took out the faded green Upa keychain. And she has an Upa keychain. Oh yeah, because that's from Mayuri, right. She stared at it with a sad look on her face. She was probably thinking about Mayuri, her mother. And she was probably trying to understand what it meant that her mother had put her inside the time machine. Suzuha had decided that Kagari was alright now and closed the hatch on the time machine from the outside. The lock flipped on automatically. The only person who could open it now was Suzuha, whose biometrics had been loaded into the system ahead of time. Even if someone did find the machine, it would be a while before they found out what it was.
かがり、これを見ろ。
That's an IBM 5100! Suzuha handed her a printout of a photo.
これ何？ IBN5100 っていうレトロ PC だ。
It's not so retro in the time that they're at right now. IBM 5100, IBM's first portable computer, which went on sale in 1975. The design includes an integrated monitor and keyboard. While it is described as portable, it weighs almost 25 kilograms. In the 2000s, John Titor revealed that there was a special computer language that could only be used on devices of this type, which was not described in the manual, and the IBM developers would later admit that he was correct.
私たちの時代に存在していたものはどれも満足に動かない。けど、この時代なら感動品が入手できる。これを手分けして探すのが私とお前の最初のミッションだ。
Split up? How old is this girl?
連絡はこれで。
She handed Kagari a small transceiver.
通信できる距離はかなり短いらしいから気休め程度だと思え。オーキードーキー。90分ごとにこのビルの前に集合。状況を確認。それを繰り返す。いいな。オーキードーキー。
That's adorable.
いい返事だ。
Suzuha nodded and patted Kagari on the head.
よし、ミッション開始。
Right? Dorbs. And no Kagari, huh? What a surprise. Suzuha, what makes you think splitting up is a good idea? Suzuha was on the top of Radikan in 2010, looking down.
35年か。
That's how long ago it had been in real time since she'd spoken to Kagari here. From her perspective, it had only been a few months. The view from up here had changed a lot since then, and in the next 26 years, it could change even more. She's seen for herself how this building changed over a span of 61 years. The thought didn't make her feel sentimental. Instead, she felt the loneliness and fear that comes from having a past not shared with anyone else. Using the time machine to change the world line means breaking the rules of the universe. Okabe Rintaro's words flashed through her mind. Still, lately she'd been thinking more about Kagari. She'd been searching the city at regular intervals. She was looking for Shina Kagari. She didn't even know if she was in Tokyo. She had no clues. She didn't even know what Kagari looked like now. Wait. No, that doesn't line up. Hold on. Yeah, because 1975 is... Kagari would be much older now. So maybe it was a waste of time. Even so, she had to find Kagari herself. But she hadn't had any better luck today. She turned around and looked towards the time machine. She would come here every day. Her primary reason for coming was to see if her father, Hashida Itaru, had been here. Anytime she let her guard down, he would come to try to examine it. She told him it would cause a time paradox, but he didn't listen. She needed to keep constant watch. To be honest, she had a lot of things she had to do. And then she heard the metal door to the roof open. Was it her dad? She squinted into the darkness, but the person she saw was much smaller than Itaru and had cat ears coming out of their head. It's Ferris. Ferris.
にゃにゃ、いたいた。すずにゃん、こんばんはだにゃ。なんだ、ルミ姉さんか。
Ferris Nyan Nyan had a spring in her step as she approached Suzuha.
ルミ姉さんって誰のことかにゃ？フェイリスはフェイリスにゃ。ルミ姉さんはルミ姉さんだよ。
Ferris's real name was Akiha Rumiho. She was Daru's friend and had helped him in many different ways in 2036. So Suzuha had known her ever since she was very young and had always called her Big Sis Rumi. For whatever reason, in this era, she always wanted to be called Ferris, though. When Suzuha asked why, she simply responded, Ferris is Ferris, yeah? An answer which meant nothing to Suzuha.
ラボに誰もいなかったからこっちかなと思ったら正解だったにゃ。はい、差し入れ。余り物で悪いんやけど。
Ferris showed her a cake box with the logo from the maid cafe where she worked. Maid Queen plus Nyan Nyan.
父さんがラボに不在でよかったよ。
If he ate something like that at this hour, he'd get even fatter. She is so blunt. I love it.
ダルニャンじゃなくてスズニャンへの差し入れにゃ。私に？なんで？にゃふふ、好きなくせに。
Ferris grinned and nudged Suzuha in the side with her elbow.
私は別に。アップルタルトにモンブラン。あと、いちごのショートケーキもあるにゃ。
A Mont Blanc. That's probably one of my favorite cakes.
ほーら、おいしそうだにゃ。
Ferris opened up the box and showed her what was inside. Suzuha could smell the sweet cream and fruit. Ugh.
さあ、今すぐおいしく食べるといいにゃ。心置きなく食べるといいにゃ。ほら、あんして。その可愛いお口に食べさせてあげるにゃ。
Your cute little mouth.
で、冷蔵庫にしまって明日食べる。スズニャンはストイックにゃ。
Ferris laughed and handed over the box.
賞味期限は明日だから明日中に食べなきゃダメにゃぞ。ありがとう。どういたしまして。
Ferris gave her a mischievous wink and looked up at the time machine beside them.
ダルニャンのタイムマシン研究の方はどうかにゃ。頑張ってはいるみたい。ルミ姉さん、このマシンまだここに置いておいても？
Suzuha looked around the roof as she asked. It was solely thanks to Ferris that no one had really noticed the massive object on the roof. She was the heir to a rich family that had a lot of influence in this area and had contributed a lot to the development of Akihabara. She was helping to hide the time machine.
このフロアというか屋上はフェイリスが借り上げちゃったから平気にゃ。オーナーさんには体感ゲームの研究をしてるって言ってあるにゃ。ちょっと苦しいわけにゃけど。助かるよ。 気にしないでいいにゃ。この世界のエレメンタルを売薬兵たちの魔の手から救うためなら、フェイリスはいつでも協力するにゃ。
Oh dear. All right. Ferris, tell us about your world. 4 elementals, the 4 spirits who control the 4 elementals, earth, water, fire, and air. The existence of the 4 elementals was first proposed by Swiss alchemist Paracelsus in his book, The Book of Fairies. He described them as being not dead like ghosts, but not alive like humans either. They're spiritual creatures of an extremely nebulous nature. Paracelsus struggled to explain exactly what they are, and in the end decided to classify them as just things. Paracelsus divided them as follows. The elements of earth is controlled by Hymes of the mountain, or the gnomes. The element of water is controlled by nymphs of the water, or the undine. The element of fire is controlled by salamanders of the fire, or the Vulcans. The element of air is controlled by the sylphs of the wind, or the Sylvestris. Paracelsus' theory had a huge effect on alchemists and authors of both his own generation as well as later generations, the latter of which helped fill in the gaps in his work. In the fantasy genre in particular, the elementals have become a mainstay. Byaki? Winged interstellar creatures that appear in the Cthulhu mythos. Created by August Derleth, the co-creator of Cthulhu mythos along with H.P. Lovecraft. These predators can be found in stories such as The House of Kerwin Street. They're described as being chimera-like creatures around 3 meters tall with the wings of a pterosaur and the legs of the eagle and an abdomen like the hornets. Despite their terrifying appearance, they understand human speech as if they feel it's in their best interest, and they can work together with humans. In space, they usually travel at around 1/10 the speed of light, but an organ called the Hune, located in their abdomen, allows them to fly faster than the speed of light. The Byaki are servants of Hastor, the god of shepherds, a creation of Ambrose Bierce, author of the famous book, The Devil's Dictionary. Okay.
そう。昔から、いや、今からしたら未来か。思ってたんだけどさ、ルミ姉さんの話って時々すごく難しくなるんだよね。一体何語
Suzuha is not alone in that. Sometimes I feel Paris is harder to understand than Hoen Kyoma in the past.
考えるんじゃない。感じるのにゃ。いいやいいや。寒いにゃ。フェイリスはお家に帰ろうかにゃ。
In the end, she never could get an answer. To Suzuha, Ferris was always a great mystery. To the rest of the world, too.
一緒に出よう。にゃ、それじゃあついでにうちでご飯も食べてくといいにゃ。そういうつもりで言ったわけじゃないんだけど。どうせ普段大したもの食べてないにゃ。スズニャンのストイックさを見てると、フェイリスがなんとかしてあげにゃきゃーって思っちゃうにゃ。保護欲、母性、とにかくそういうのがかきたてられるのにゃ。私は大丈夫だから。
Before she finished her sentence, she felt someone looking at her. She glanced around.
にゃ、 どうしたのにゃ？し
She listened carefully. She definitely heard a very faint sound from the direction of the metal door that led to the stairs. It was small enough that Suzuha was only able to notice it because of her training.
誰かいる。にゃにゃ。多分話を聞かれた。
Most of the discussion was worthless, but they talked about the time machine a little. If someone heard that. Suzuha yanked her gun out of her jacket and in an instant ran toward the stairs as fast as she could. She heard someone running down the stairs as soon as she did. The sound, heavy military boots in wide stride, got further and further away.
早い。
She opened up the door and jumped onto the landing. Then she traced down the stairs, skipping 3 steps with every stride. But still, it wasn't fast enough. Suzuha was born fast, and she'd been trained to be faster, but it wasn't enough. When she finally made it to the 2nd floor, she could hear the loud revving of a motorcycle.
まず、
She panicked and slipped on an object that had been left halfway up the stairs, then rolled her way to the bottom. She managed to get into the right position and protect her head, so it was her hips that struck the ground. Ouch. She forced herself to stand up and run outside. She could see the tail lights of a large motorcycle speeding away. The driver was wearing a black helmet and riding suit, and already a good distance away, so she couldn't even tell if they were a man or a woman. They revved their engine loudly as if to mock her, and then spun a corner and disappeared onto Chuodori. I'm trying to think, who was the motorcycle rider back in not season 1, but back in Steins. Was it Suzuha? I don't remember.
すずにゃん。
A little later, Ferris caught up.
大丈夫かにゃ？逃げられた。それしまった方がいいにゃ。あ。
She put the gun in her hand back in her jacket holster and brushed away hair that sweat had stuck to her brow.
今の誰にゃ？わからない。けど一般人じゃない。訓練されてると思う。訓練？階段に何か落ちてなかった？バッグが転がってたにゃ。ちょうど死角になる位置だった。多分わざと落としたんだよ。しかも私がそこを通るタイミングでエンジンを空ぶかしした。見事に引っかかったよ。トラップってことかにゃ。ああいうことがとっさにできるっていうのは特殊な訓練を受けてるからだ。じゃなきゃ無理。
Suzuha glared in the direction the bike disappeared and started to think. Who was it? CERN? It was an unofficial CERN group, the Rounders, that were searching for IBN 5100s in Akihabara. Okabe Rintaro had told her that, but he had only encountered them in another world line.
誰かはわからないけど、私たちの他にタイムマシンのことを知ってる奴がいるのは間違いない。ねえ、ルミ姉さん。このことはオカリンおじさんには内密にしておいて。にゃんで？ 今のオカリンおじさんが知ったらタイムマシンを破壊しろって言いかねない。危険だからってでしょ。
そうにゃけど。
私は絶対にマシンを守るよ。シュタインズゲートの入り口へオカリンおじさんを連れて行かなきゃいけないんだから。それが未来の父さんとの、私をここに送り出してくれた人たちみんなとの約束だからさ。
すずにゃ。わかったにゃ。その代わりダルニャにだけはちゃんと話しておくこと。
オーキードーキー。
The last part was almost a whisper as her words melted into Akihabara's sky. I like the fact that they used the word melted. It's so pretty. Hiyazo Maho was fidgeting. She knew exactly why, but she still didn't want to admit it.
魔法、準備はできたかい？
はい。
She awkwardly stood up from the chair as Dr. Leskinen spoke to her.
何ですか？
少しはおめかしするかと思ったんだが、魔法はマイペースだね。
Dr. Leskinen stared at her for a moment, then spoke. It was obvious he was referring to her outfit.
この前みたいにパーティーに出席するわけじゃないんですから。
あの時だって白衣のままだったじゃないか。
あれは服を忘れたんです。
そうだったね。
Dr. Leskinen was wearing his translator all the time these days. In fact, he had actually told Maho to talk to him in Japanese.
さて、クリスとリンタロウはどういう関係を築いているかな？会うのが楽しみだよ。
Rintaro. Maho and Dr. Leskinen were about to head into Tokyo proper. There, they were to meet Okabe Rintaro. It had been 2 weeks since they'd first asked him to test Amadeus. It was time for the first report. Of course, that was the reason Maho was fidgeting. She was nervous to meet Okabe, to see Kurisu for the first time in quite a while. Of course, Maho was able to talk to Kurisu anytime she wanted, but since she had asked Okabe to be a tester, she tried to avoid doing so as much as possible. She didn't want her conversations to add any extra noise.
教授、出発する前に一つ聞いても？
なんなる意図？
なぜ岡部さんなんですか？
Maho had wanted to ask Dr. Leskinen that for a long time. If she was going to ask it, though, now was the time. Dr. Leskinen thought for a minute.
嫉妬しているのかい、魔法？
それは。
She felt heat flush her face. In other words, he was right. Yes, she was jealous of Okabe, not that she wanted to admit it.
正直納得はしていません。クリスの話し相手なら他にも適任がいたはずです。
例えば君とか？
そうは言いません。私はクリスともアマデウスとも近すぎますから。
リンタロウはいい青年だよ。
本気でそう信じているなら教授はお人よしです。人の本質を一度会っただけで理解することなんて不可能ですよ。もし彼が私たちに隠れて他の研究者にアマデウスを売り渡してしまったら、 最初はそのつもりはなかったとしても、お金を前にしたら気持ちが揺らぐことだってあります。それが人間というものです。
仮にリンタロウがエムデウスを撃ったとしよう。それでどうなるかな？アクセス権を手に入れた何者かはクリスと仲良くなってエムデウスそのものを乗っ取ったりできるかな？
それは。
Maho asked herself the question and then realized the chance was almost zero.
ありえません。
そうありえない。なぜならそんな事態になればクリスの方が対話を拒否するだろうからね。エムデウスはそういう意味でとても面倒くさいシステムだよ。なかなかこちらの思い通りには動いてくれない。もちろんエムデウスが説得される可能性もあるだろうけれど、そのために私はモデルとなる人格にクリスと魔法を選んだとも言えるわけでね。
Dr. Luskinen gave her a mischievous wink.
私もクリスも気難しいですからね。そうやすやすと説得はされないでしょう。
She knew he was teasing her, so she decided to say it.
いかにも君たちは本当に容赦ない。これぞ最強のセキュリティだよ。
けなされているように聞こえるんですが。
君たちは我が研究室が誇る最強のレディーさ。
Dr. Luskinen laughed happily. He always had a childlike innocence about him.
いずれにせよ、エムデウスの AI は一筋縄ではいかないわけでね。だからこそ面白いとも言える。そんな彼女たちを身内だけで独占していても進歩はないだろう。エムデウスが劇的な進化を遂げるための起爆剤のようなものがちょうど欲しいと考えていたところなんだ。
Like, could they love?
しかもなるべく研究とは無関係な人物に預けたかった。ウィンターローは聡明だし適任だと思ったんだ。クリスの友人でもあったわけだし。とりあえず今日の報告次第で判断してもいいんじゃないか。クリスがリンターローと過ごしてどう変化したのかを見極めてからだね。私たちが見たことのないような意外な一面を覗かせてくれるかもしれないよ。
はい。
That was what was making her nervous. If Kurisu changed into someone she didn't know, that would make her sad.
そろそろ時間だ。レオ。
Maho nodded. I mean, I don't know. It's very similar to like having a friend who goes on a holiday and then you see them in 2 weeks. How much different could they be? I walked onto the grounds of Yanabayashi Shrine and quietly took a look around. Several cats were sunbathing beneath the cold winter sky, but there was no sign of anyone else. Rukako wasn't back from school yet. Okay, I could talk to Kurisu without anyone staring at me here. I was supposed to meet Dr. Luskinen and Maho after this. Before that happened, I wanted to confirm something with Kurisu. I decided to start the app. Is it still the same keybind? Oh, it is. Great. Amadeus.
ハロー。
話がある。
今日はこの後教授や先輩に会う予定なのよね。その件について。
ああ。
緊張する必要はないんじゃない？基本的にはログを提出して、あとはあんたから見た私がどんな印象だったのか軽く聞かれるぐらいだと思う。
それだ、ログだよ。それを聞きたかった。もしかしてこれまでの会話は全部記録されてるのか？
最初に話したでしょ。私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っているって聞いてなかった？
それを今回教授とヒアジョーさんに提出するのか？
多分そう。
ということはプライベートのことをお前に喋ろうものならヒアジョーさんやレスキネン教授に筒抜けっていうことか？
あんたね、今さら
？Well, yeah, it was a little late. Kurisu and I had been talking for 2 weeks. I should have asked about this when I got the access key for Amadeus.
今日になって気づいたんだ。なあ、俺これまでに何かまずいことを話さなかったか？
Derp, right, Okabe? I mean, I hope they haven't talked about anything like the time machine, for instance. Right? Wink, wink.
例えば合コンでろくに女の子と話せなかったこととか？
Yeah, no, that can be distributed.
実家が八百屋さんなのにナスが嫌いなこととか？
ナスは嫌いなんじゃない。苦手なだけだ。
If that was so, I didn't really care.
あんたが最初に私と話した時にクリスティーナって呼んだこととか？
That... I don't think without invite any questions, really, right?
それについては忘れてくれ。
人の記憶は曖昧で、時間が経てば経つほど主観が入り混じるし、物語が付与されていく。その内容がポジティブかネガティブかに関係なく、印象的な言葉しか思い出さないことも多い。それに引きずられて前後の会話の記憶はねじ曲げられていく。
Huh? What was she talking about?
それが悪いことだと言ってるわけじゃない。人の記憶というのはそういうものなんだから。でもアマデウスは人じゃない。まだ研究段階の不完全な AI よ。これは教授たちにとって大きな壁の一つなんだけど、実は人の持つ曖昧さをアマデウスはまだ完全には再現できていない。
Okarin is not following.
つまりね、忘れるという脳の高度な機能、それを完璧には模倣できてないってこと。
でも ATF でのレスキネン教授の講演だとアマデウスは不必要なことは忘れてしまうって。
ええ、確かに忘れるわ。けど言ったでしょ、私たちはまるで秘密の日記のようにログを取ってるって。結局その中には全ての情報が残ってしまってるわけ。そしてそれをロードしてくれば忘却したはずのデータは私の記憶に戻ってきてしまう。 OK？
In other words, asking her to forget was a waste of time.
代替案はログを消すことだけど、私にとってログはバックアップだから絶対無理。 仮に一箇所だけ消去しても同じ。前後の文脈を参照してその不自然に消去された箇所を自動的に修復してしまう。それでも何とか記憶を改ざんしたいというのなら大元のプログラムそのものをいじるしかない。
I didn't have that level of access, and I didn't understand how the program worked at all. So basically, until I told Kurisu why I called her Christina, she was going to keep asking. What a pain.
で、どうしてクリスティーナ？
Speak of the devil.
本当に引き下がらないな。今すぐ通話を切ってもいいんだぞ。
そうやって逃げたって今説明した通り私は忘れない。はぐらかされるとかえって気になってしょうがなくなるのよね。それともあえてそうすることで私に構ってほしいっていう合図を送ってる？
構ってちゃんはお前だろう。こっちが大学の講義を受けてる最中でもお構いなしで連絡してくるくせに。それだけじゃなく LINE でまでコメントしまくってきて。
Oh? Rhine, an instant messaging application developed by Hastaitaru. Interesting, okay. Users can communicate with other users for free via voice calls or texting as long as both users have the application installed. Since it is a privately developed software and isn't available on the internet, only Hastaitaru and his friends and acquaintances use it at the moment. Much like Line.
好奇心旺盛すぎる。そんな調子で無邪気に首を突っ込むといつか痛い目を見るぞ。
研究者はそれぐらいじゃないとやっていけないのよ。
She got mad at me.
そんなにクリスティーナの件が気になるなら推論でも立ててみたらどうだ？
一応いくつかの可能性は考えてはみた。聞いて。
She's really into this.
可能性その1。あんたはクリスティーナ・なんちゃらという名前のハリウッド女優が好きである。
自分がハリウッド女優並みの美貌の持ち主だとでも？
見た目は関係ない。同じ名前の人に親近感を持つのと似たような意味よ。
つまりこう言いたいわけか。私は岡部倫太郎から親近感を持たれている。
単なる例え話でしょ。言葉通りに受け止めないで。
冗談だよ。
Whenever I talked to Kurisu, I always wanted to tease her. I needed to watch out.
可能性その2。あんたが昔付き合っていた彼女が外国人でクリスティーナっていう名前だった。
That is damn close.
これについてはあんたの絶望的な英語力を聞く限り絶対にないわね。
もしかしたら日本語ペラペラの金髪ブロンド美女と付き合っていたかもしれないだろ。
もしかしたの？沈黙は敗北を認めることと同意よ。
すいません。
可能性その3。オリジナルの私と面識があって直接あるいは間接的にそう呼んでいた。
Also damn close.
これも確率低いでしょうね。そんな風に呼ばれたら私ならこう答える。ティーナってつけるな。
Yeah, that was exactly right. That's exactly what Kurisu said. But I didn't stop because
照れくさかったんだ。
the genius named Makise Kurisu was the person I always wanted to be.
ど ういうこと？
素直に名前を呼べないから照れ隠しであえて茶化した言い方をした。
照れくさい？
ああ、オリジナルだけじゃなくてお前と話すのもだ。
私？
何しろモニターの中にいる女の子と話すなんて一度もない経験だったから。
それはどうも。
なんで赤くなってるんだ？
赤くなんてなってないし。ただ女の子扱いされるなんて思ってもみなかったからちょっとびっくりしただけで。
What is this shoujo manga scene? What's going on? Even that reaction was just like
俺
Kurise.
はお前のそういうところが好き。
Came out. I shuddered. What was I about to say? This was a 3D model on a screen, a tiny collection of zeros and ones in the shape of a human. What was I about to say to her?
ねえ、聞いてもいい？私たち知り合いだったのよね。つまりあんたとオリジナルの私がっていう意味だけど。答えたくないならそれでいいけど、どういう関係だったの？少し興味ある。クリスティーナって呼ばれても私は怒らなかった？怒ったけれどそれでも笑っているした。
I like the ominous music.
死にたくないよ。
I was hit with a violent urge to throw up. I could see Kurise in front of me, covered in blood. She was looking at me, her eyes cold.
あんたが私を殺したのよ。どうしたの？ねえ、顔が真っ青。
I touched the smartphone and ended the call. Then I became too dizzy to stand. I tried to throw up, but nothing came out. My hands were shaking. That's right, I can't change reality. But there I was trying to talk to Kurisu like nothing had happened. I was treating her like the real Kurisu and tried to avert my eyes from what I had done. I was just clinging to Kurisu. This was wrong. I shouldn't talk to Kurisu anymore. A call from Kurisu. Right?
Nanda?
なんだじゃない。急に切るなんて失礼。どうかしたの？
なんでもない。
でもひどい顔色してるじゃない。
本当になんでもない。放っておいてくれ。しばらく連絡してこないでくれると助かる。
あまり無理せずに誰か知り合いに連絡しなさいよ。それじゃ。
Kurisu gave up easier than I expected. Maybe she realized that as an artificial intelligence, there was nothing she could do. Realized? I was making her sound like a real person. In the second that thought crossed my mind, I almost saw an image of a bloody hand. I gritted my teeth and waited for it to pass. I should really turn my smartphone off until I calmed down a little. I was fine just a moment ago, but now even hearing Chris's voice was enough to send me into a panic. Save here? All right, I will save. Is it like a different ending save? Oh. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay. Yep. I will we'll tab into like page 3 and save here. Yep, I just got the guide up. Yes. I see it now. I didn't realize we made it past the first chapter already. I gone back to how I was half a year ago. Can we turn it off right now? Power off. Okay, I think we're going to start from that direction. Yeah. This is the order. The phone went silent. I slowly stood up. If Rukako saw me like this, he'd worry. I should get out of here. I was staggering a little, but I could walk. I felt very thirsty. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. I wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. I like the music. Did I say that already? But I like the music a lot. I looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache too. If I went to Dr. Leskinen like this, I'm sure I'd worry him. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try and make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved.
やっぱりオカリンさんだ。
Fubuki-chan, are you infected with the virus or do you have reading Steiner?
こんにちは。
And hi, Suzuha's mom.
ああ。
No,
マユリの
not
友
Suzuha's
達の
mom. This is the other one. Kaida-san? Kaida-san. They were Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I think their cosplay names were Kaede and Fubuki. I didn't know their real names. Which was Kaede and which was Fubuki again?
大丈夫ですか？具合悪そうですけど。
ああ、大丈夫。
If I made them worry here, and they talked to Mayuri, it could cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. I didn't have to come back to Akihabara anyway. I shouldn't, right? I read that wrong. I shouldn't have come back to Akihabara anyway. I run into people I knew just walking through town. I should have gone towards Kanda when I left the shrine.
オカリンさんっていつもなんだか辛そうに見えます。
そうか。
そうだよ。
ふぶきちゃん。
そんなオカリンさんを見てるマユシーも辛そうで。
私もオカリンさんとマユシのこと見てると泣きそうになって。
Oh, this is just like Linnea.
私何言ってんだろう。
This Fubuki girl must really care about Mayuri. I felt a little better after hearing that.
オカリンさんの好きな人って誰ですか？
Okay, never mind. She's like butting into people's business.
Huh?
The girl I like? An image of Kurisu appeared in the corner of my eye again. The feeling in my hands when I took her life came back. Oh god. No, calm down.
オカリンさん、ごめんなさい。失礼なこと聞いちゃって。私。
Wait, what? 64750. That was enough to jump world line? Or is it just a switch of perspectives? The sky was red-black, dotted with columns of thick black smoke. There was so much rubble, I couldn't find a place to stand. Screams, gunshots, and the stench. Everyone in this world knew what the smell was. It was the smell of burning. Houses, buildings, cars, motorcycles, trees, grass, and humans. It was the smell of all of them burning together. Something thin and black poked from between the piles of rubble. It was a hand unmoving, stretched up towards the sky. No, that wasn't the only one. Everywhere I looked, I saw hands, legs, and heads. Parts of what were once human beings were strewn across the ground. I heard a distant gunshot, a shout, silence. Nothing changed, just one more body lying on the ground. The world was ending, and at last, people understand. This wasn't the afterlife. This was the real world. Hell. Yes, that's what this was. This is hell. Interesting. The chapters aren't numbered anymore. And okay, so we did jump word line because this whole thing is the aftermath of jumping world line. The world twisted and warped. I felt horribly dizzy. Sometimes my vision would blur for no reason, but this was nothing like that. It was like my mind itself was being wrung apart. Like the world itself was changing. Deja vu. I knew this feeling. This was... At last, the color came back to my vision. All the shouts and the pedestrians and the noise of the passing cars came flooding in at once.
オカリンさん、大丈夫ですか？汗すごいですけど。
Alright, sorry, we're gonna start taking notes. 12:15 Wednesday, and it was after Fubuki asked about Kurisu.
気分でも悪いんですか？
いや。
Fubuki and Kaede, the two of them were still in front of me. They looked worried. Had I just gotten dizzy for a moment?
本当に大丈夫だよ。心配してくれてありがとう。
それじゃあ私たち行きますね。今度のパーティー楽しみにしてます。
They said their goodbyes and walked towards the station. I watched them go, only halfway paying attention. What was that? None of the passerby noticed me standing there. They were all experiencing time sequentially, as one connected moment one after another. But I knew what I just saw. That's right. I was the one person who understood. That feeling was reading Steiner, which meant that the world line has changed. I shook my head and tried to get the idea out of my mind. It was impossible. The word line could only change if someone had altered the past. I'd only ever seen word line changes after I'd sent emails and phone wave with the phone wave name subject to change. It's a refresher. Let's go. Phone wave, name subject to change. Future gadget number 8. A microwave oven that could be remote controlled by a cell phone. By chance, it gained the ability to send emails that could go back into the past. After he arrived in a beta world line, Okabe destroyed it and disposed of the remains. Email, short for DeLorean mail. An email that can be sent to the past. Emails are sent from a cellular phone to future gadget number 8, the phone wave name subject to change, and can then be sent to the past. It is possible to specify how far back in the past emails are sent, but only in units of 1 hour. However, emails cannot be sent too close to the present, and they may only contain a little over 36 bytes of data. But I destroyed the phone wave name subject to change so that could never happen again. I'd sacrificed Kurisu for it. But then who did this? And how? What if someone had made a device identical to the phone wave, name subject to change? A jellified Mayuri. I remember that. Mayuri. I need to see if Mayuri is safe. I'll call her right now. If the world line change meant something terrible had happened to Mayuri again. Oh, not line. Nope. Call. Mayuri. Yes. I picked her name off the contact list on my phone and dialed. I could hear the call sound in my ear, but there was no sign of her picking up. 7 seconds, 8, 9. Each second made the fear worse. I felt cold sweat drip down my back. 12 seconds, 13 seconds, 14 seconds. I kept calling and praying anyway. Eventually, after a minute of ringing, the electronic sound suddenly cut off. Winter Mayuri.
マユリか本当にマユリなんだな。
おかりどうしたのそんなに慌てて。
The relaxed, easygoing voice I heard most definitely belonged to Mayuri.
心配したぞ。ずっと鳴らしているのに出なかったから。
ああ、ごめんね。電話カバンの中に入れてたから。
It was nothing. Nothing had happened at all.
もしかして何か急な用事だった？
いや、 気にしなくていい。少し不安になっただけだ。
不安？
今どこだ？誰かと一緒か？
これからバイト
何時まで？
だよ。8時過ぎぐらいまで。
そうか。わかった。
おかり、遊びに来てくれるの？
いや、今日は用事があってな。無理なんだ。
バイトが終わったら、ラボにも顔を出すつもりだよ。
わかった。もし行けるようだったら、そこで合流して一緒に帰ろう。
ほんと？今日は珍しいね。
Oh, she just wants to spend time with us.
じゃあ、バイト頑張れよ。
I love this girl. I hung up. My Yuri was safe, which meant that the world line change probably had nothing to do with her, now that I could let my guard down. Or maybe that was just a daydream, and there was no world line change at all. It seemed awfully realistic for that to be the case, though. Just to be safe, I turned on my phone again. The icon was still there, in the same place it had been several times. In the same place it had been the last several times I had used it. I felt a little hesitation, especially after what happened. Could I really contact her after that? But I decided that it was important to see what was going on first. So I tapped the icon.
Nani? 言い忘れたことでもあった？
Kurisa's voice was the same as ever.
怒ってないのか？
怒る？どうして？
だって、さっき話している途中で切ってしまっただろ。だから。
それについてはさっき謝ってもらったから。私は一度許したことをいつまでもぐちぐち言う人間じゃない。
Oh, difference.
さっき謝った？
You've reached your final form, blanket burrito in a bed. Awesome. Be comfy.
ええ、かけ直してきたじゃない。
So there was a time, space world line jump. I don't have the right words today. Was it did someone do something? Or did something got sent by accident yet again? We didn't send anything, it seems, right? We only turned off the phone.
かけ直した？俺が？
ほんの7分43秒前のことを忘れちゃったの？
俺が謝ったのか？お前に？
大丈夫？
Kurisa was evidently telling the truth. She didn't look like she was lying, at least.
何かあったの？さっきとは別人みたいな顔してるけど。
いや、平気だ。
I didn't remember that. I remembered turning off the phone, but I didn't remember anything about calling her, the Amadeus Kurisu, back after that. The old me would have insisted that I was right and that she was mistaken, but now I wasn't sure. After all the different pasts I've experienced, and all the sadness and pain I'd gone through, even 6 months later, I was still exhausted. What had really happened and what hadn't? What was right and what was wrong, I wasn't sure anymore. I just didn't want to think about it anymore. The past, the future, the fate of the world. I wanted nothing to do with any of it.
ずいぶん具合が悪そう。誰か知り合いに連絡するなり、どこかで休むなりした方がいいんじゃない？岡部？
なあ、クリス。一つ聞いてもいいか？さっき電話した後、俺が何をしようとしていたかわかるか？
レスキネン教授と真帆先輩とこの後待ち合わせでしょ？私について報告する予定じゃない。
Evidently, my memories matched hers in that regard.
そうか。
真帆先輩にあんたのことあらかじめ伝えておきましょうか。
本当に大丈夫だ。心配かけてすまない。
あんまり無理しないでよ。あんたと最後に話したのが私でしたなんて結果になるのはごめんだからね。
I chuckled bitterly and ended the conversation. I called Daru too, just in case, and evidently I really was on my way to see the professor and Maho. He also told me that almost all the events in the last few days matched my memories to them, which meant that even if the world line had changed, nothing had changed nearby where I could have seen it. There was no problem, or at least there shouldn't have been a problem. It was possible that that moment of dizziness was just the result of mental illness. Experiencing those same sensations brought up my past trauma and caused my memories to get confused. Maybe that was it. Oh no. That's bad. Isn't that kind of terrible? That, like, Okarin is no longer confident in his own memory and believing that it has something to do with his mental illness, with his depression or trauma, PTSD, because no one else can vouch for him, right? Like, he's the only one who's able to traverse between world lines like that and retain copies of those memories. If even he has no faith in those memories, oh, that's bad. The phone wave named subject to change didn't exist, so there was no way the past could have changed. That's right. That was all. I kept telling myself this as I went to see the professor. I met with the professor and Maho in a hotel room.
それじゃあ今のところ M デウスとのコミュニケーションはうまくいっているということでいいんだね、リンタロウ。
リンタロウ。
ええ。会話に齟齬が出ることもありませんし。
ちなみに聞きたいんだが、クリスとの距離感はどうかな？
距離感というと、どういうことでしょう？
話しているうちに親しくなってきているかどうかということだよ。
それは初めて会話した時に比べれば多少は。
多少？かなりの間違いじゃない？私だってクリスと話してるんだからそれくらいわかるわよ。
I'm talking to her too, but doesn't Mao has had in the previous world line had been trying to not talk to Chris much during the past couple weeks because she wants to remove herself as the noise in the experiment. So,
あの子 最初は8回もイルスを使われたって怒っていたほどなのに、今じゃすっかりフレンドリーになっているもの。それだけ距離が縮まったということでしょ。
そうですか。それは喜ばしい。
Leskinen seemed overjoyed by Maho's words.
私は期待しているんだよ。彼女が君に対して友情を、もっと言えば恋愛感情を持ってくれないかとね。
As a love interest. Okay.
恋愛感情？
そんな声を上げることもないだろ
でもその AI ですよ。
う。AI だからだよ。
What did he mean?
彼女にだって感情はあっただろ
いやだけどそれはあくまでもプログラム上のことで。
でもそれは人間の脳だって同じことじゃないか。
He was right. The brain ran on electrical signals, so you could say it had the same structure.
今は機械に感情があるかないかなんていう命題はもはや時代遅れだよ。機械にだって感情はある。第一エメデウスは私たち人間の脳を再現すべく作っているんだ。構造が同じでプロセスが同じならその結果生み出されるものも同じなはずだろう。ならば彼女だって恋をする可能性は十分にある。いや、ぜひしてもらいたいと思っている。
Amadeus falling in love.
おっと、こんなことを言っては魔法に恨まれてしまうかな。
It really reminds me of the movie She, though.
教授までクリスみたいなことを言わないでください。
Especially if she's able to talk to with multiple people and many people at the same time.
冗談だよ、冗談。魔法は怒ると怖いから気をつけた方がいい。
それはもう分かってます。
ちょっと聞こえてますよ。
おお、そういえば私はジュリーに連絡をしなければならないんだった。リンタロウ、少し失礼するよ。
Judy. The professor quickly left the room. He ran away, didn't he?
まったく。クリスといい教授といい。どうして何でもかんでもすぐに色恋沙汰に結びつけたがるのかしら。
まったくだな。
Of course, that was always the type of girl she was.
あ、そうだ。岡部さん、ちょっと聞きたいんだけど、あの子がクリスが好きな言葉って何か知ってる？
Any words that she really liked?
言葉？
数字でも何でもいいの。何かこうキーになりそうなものに心当たりないかしら。
What are you trying to break into?
クリスが設定したパスワードを破ろうとでも？
よくわかったわね。
Oh God, I was right?
それってあいつの研究室の PC か何かの？
彼女の私物。家にあったノート PC よ。
Then why you shouldn't you know? What?
そんなものどうして君が？
形見分けでね、譲ってもらったの。クリスのお母さんに。
Also weird. It's a weird thing to give away.
それで中身を確かめたいからパスを解除する方法を探しているの。あなたなら知ってるんじゃないかと思って。
No, I don't like this at all. Now you're sus to me, Maho. I was... What? I don't believe that a mother would give away their child's personal things like that. I mean, if you're talking about like, you know, a piece of clothes or a piece of jewelry, sure, but like a personal laptop?
パスがかかってるということは見られると困るものなんじゃないのか？
それはそうだけど、でも彼女アマデウスのクリスをより本物に近づけるためにはその中のデータも解析した方がいいでしょ？
No. I don't understand. Am I missing something? I don't get it, right? Because didn't Kurisu already loaded all of her memories as of, you know, whenever she created Amadeus Kurisu? So like what could be missing? Nothing could be missing. Exactly. Yeah, no. Absolutely not. What the hell?
もちろん私自身はなるべくプライバシーに関わることは見ないようにするつもりよ。
I don't believe you anymore. I knew what she was trying to say. No, I don't. She might have had some kind of diary on her computer which described what she'd been doing during her time here. But, oh, I think she was trying to bridge the gap in between Kurisu, Loda herself as Amadeus and when she passed, right? But at the same time, it's like I don't think you can patch in memories like that either. Because then Kurisu, like the Amadeus Kurisu would have parallel memories.
悪いけど心当たりはない。
何も？
ああ、それに知っていたとしてもやっぱり俺は教えないと思う。
Good. Good job, Okabe. Good job.
人には知られたくないことがあるから？
What the hell? No.
特に PC の中身なんていうのは今やプライバシーの塊みたいなものだからな。
Daru talked about that all the time. He was always wondering if there was a way to automatically wipe a computer's hard drive if you died in an accident. Of course, what Daru didn't want anyone to see was probably very different from what was on Kurisu's computer. Beyond that, it was the same idea.
そう。
She seemed really interested in the contents of the hard drive, but she didn't say anything else.
それじゃあ俺はこれで。
Let's check the phone. Line. Hey, Okarin, what's the best color for a school swimsuit? The hell are you talking about is the proper response. Who gives a crap? White, definitely. The hell are you talking about? Well, I'm playing this H game and it just popped up as a choice. I was wondering what color you'd pick. I don't care. Honestly, I would have rather asked Mayushi Urukasi or Ferris-tan. They called a cop on your ass. Yeah. So I had no choice but to ask you. So what color? Don't get embarrassed, just tell me, asked Suzuha. Not a chance. She'd slit my throat. That was a little comic relief. I liked that. I got up and went to leave. I'm very sus of, I'm gonna write this down. What is her name? Oh, Maho. Wanting to crack into Kurisu's personal laptop. And then I saw a small ornament that was decorating a door.
そういえばもうすぐクリスマスか。
I remembered how excited Mayuri was.
ヒヤジョーさんはクリスマスもこっちにいるのか？
ええ、こっちでまだやることもあるから。
誰かと過ごしたりは？
え？
ああ、いや、ほら、海外のクリスマスっていうと友達みんなで楽しくパーティーでもするってイメージだろ？
残念だけどそういう予定はないわ。それにアメリカやヨーロッパじゃクリスマスにパーティーなんてやらないものよ。
そうなのか？
彼らにとってクリスマスは神聖な日でしょ。だから家族と一緒に過ごすのが普通よ。その分大晦日は大騒ぎするけれどね。
I thought I had heard something like that. Something about that on TV or
ま
somewhere.
あこっちには家族もいないからどっちにしても一人ということに変わりはないんだけどね。あ、だからって寂しいと思ってるわけじゃないわよ。誤解しないでね。
Or so she said, but being all alone on Christmas in a bustling town was probably pretty lonely. Of course, she'd probably get mad if I told her that, so I didn't. I mean, you could extend her an invitation, potentially. But anyway, I think this is a good stopping spot. Interesting. A lot of sus people. And I don't know, like, I'm very curious as to why. Wait, maybe someone got into the time machine on top of Radikon? I mean, it could have been Suzuha, right? She could have gone back and changed the past. Could have been an effort to catch the guy. I don't know. But we jumped word lines. So someone else with the ability to change the past. Was it Suzuha? Many questions. Invite her, but hide all the laptops. Yes. Yes, indeed. All right, let me save here. Save, and we're just gonna. Yeah, I think we'll just override. This one is, I think. Oh no! We don't want to override that one. We're gonna override the first one. Page 1. Override this one. Here we go. You missed one string. Has Moika show up again? Moika. Not really. She only showed up the first time. At the... I am using the community made patch. Should I not? I didn't use it for Steins Gate because I didn't know about it. And then I'm using it for 0. I don't know how much it should have just been like cosmetics and potentially like little bits of wording consistencies. But yeah, it shouldn't change the experience. I don't know though. But no, Linnea, I don't believe Moika has showed up since the first stream when she showed up as a reporter and was talking to Maho. She was talking to Maho. Hold on. Okay. Moika was talking to Maho during the open lecture. In the first stream. This was stream number 1. But interesting. Curious. We don't know. I should write that down. Maho and Moika talked with each other. So maybe they knew each other. Maybe they're working together. What is their relationship? Right? I'm liking this. I'm liking this. I have a lot of questions and suspicions, but I always have my suspicions. All right. Well, that is today's session with Steins Gate. Let me see if there's anyone that we could pop over and visit. Oh. Well, Pings is playing Minecraft. That'll be chill, I think. His Minecraft sessions are always super chill. Yeah, no, thanks for coming by, Maki. Have a wonderful night. We're gonna raid Pinks. And we're just gonna go and chill, really. Yeah, Pinks is huge chill. Pinks is super duper chill. Yeah, I mean, that's all I've got. I created a shower counter, as you can see. It will rest on my cheek. We're in 1 shower now, and maybe we'll get to 2 very soon, but so far so good. I mean, I haven't found this to be too cringe yet, but yeah. And I love the fact that like the storyline's getting darker, we have suspicions, and we have people we're not trusting, and oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Until then, I think just take care, stay safe, and we'll be back on Wednesday night, right? Enjoy your times at Pinks's, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.